Hello and welcome back to polyphonic.org and some vlogs for you. And this one's going to take a little bit of time because I've been off exploring and it's vacation here, which is just wonderful. So part of the exploring has been going to the Yellowstone National Park, which is fantastic. And I went tent camping for the first time and it was phenomenal. Had a great time. And I'd never been out there. And it is amazingly big. For those of you who are just tuning in or don't know where I'm in Wyoming, and Yellowstone National Park is up in the northwest corner, and it is huge. We stayed at campground, and it was fantastic, and it was like a 50-mile drive to the next bit. And from there, it was another 50 miles to the next bit after that, which is amazingly big. Man, really far away there. Amazingly big, and I think it's just, it really was amazing. We went there for 3 nights, 4 days, and I think my favorite thing about it was seeing all the nature elements. And for those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, then you can look at the pictures. I'll put them up there, and they're just glorious. Went and saw Old Faithful, of course, and that was great. I had some nice weather. It was a bit cold at night. When I was booking the trip, we were looking at the dates, and it was kind of like a hotel's date book kind of thing. And we had looked in June, and then there was a whole bunch of dates open, and then July and August was completely full. And I said, oh, well, geez, let's go in June. And the problem was that it was almost cold enough to snow at night, but good thing we had really nice sleeping bags. For those of you who don't have camping stuff, which I certainly didn't, really good way to do it is to rent the camping equipment. And what we did was just rented everything and took it with us. It was great. It was really good. Saw some really nice wildlife. Saw a bear. Saw some elk. Saw some moose and some bighorn sheep and saw all kinds of other stuff. Went hiking. Saw all kinds of beautiful formations, beautiful landscapes. Everything was just gorgeous. And the park is huge. We drive from our campsite, like I said, 50 miles to Old Faithful, and then another 50 miles to the next thing, another 50 miles to the next thing, which I think overall is just, I couldn't believe how big it was. I was struck by how enormous it was. You had a lot of people kind of staying in the same spot with the camping stuff. The other thing that was nice was that we were in a camping tents only areas. There's no RVs or anything. So really nice that the camping sites were close together. It felt like a little congregation, a little group of people. And then you went out onto the road, and you felt like there weren't very many people there because it was so big. It was just so enormous. I just could not believe how big it was. It took us 3 hours to get from Sheridan to the edge of the park, and then another hour inside of the park to get to the campsite. So, well worth it. I loved it. I had a great time. Right after that wilderness, we went to Minnesota and stayed on a lake up there at a small houses. And I thought it was great. Nice time out there. I tried water sports for the first time. Did skiing, which I thought skiing was only on snow, but apparently not. You can do skiing on the water, and it was pretty successful actually. Except, my arms were tired afterwards. So it was great. So you might be wondering, oh, he's been talking about this. I can see the little counter. I've been talking about my vacation for 3 minutes. How is this going to relate to music? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you get this thing, or your instrument of choice, into your vacation plans. When I was in Yellowstone, obviously I wasn't going to bring my trumpet, although we did see a sign that said, please do not imitate the animal sounds. I thought, oh, well, I'm going to bring a trumpet. You sound like some kind of animal. So didn't bring it to the campsite, obviously. So sometimes you just have to say, all right, listen, I'm going tent camping. I'm not going to be playing the trumpet. Despite the fact that that's my livelihood, that's what I'm doing, I'm just not going to be playing for however long you're going. And I didn't. I didn't try to. Also, the days driving there and days coming back, it's just not going to happen. The next part of the vacation I was spending with my girlfriend's family, and a lot of that vacation time was spending time with the family, which is fine. You have to be really realistic about the options of practicing. And you have to be kind of tasteful about when you choose. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to play trumpet and I'm going to play for 7 hours. I mean, if any family you went to go visit, they'd hate you. because you don't want to listen to trumpet for 7 hours. You got to kind of fit it in when it's available. I went in hoping to get 3 sessions in a day, 3 hours a day, essentially. We were there for maybe, 4 days, and I did 3 hours. I think three out of the 4 days, and did a couple hours the other day. And I tried to be really tasteful about when I practiced. You also have to make the best of your practice time. If you're used to having some kind of a massive warm-up where it takes you 3 hours to warm up and then be prepared for my next 6-hour session, it's not going to happen. You do have to get some kind of a shorter warm-up or an abbreviated warm-up to what you're doing. So what I did was I took what I wanted to practice. Say that was right now. It's the unaccompanied Bach piece and the Owazen trumpet sonata and an Esco legend and a piccolo trumpet piece. So I knew what I'd have to do in that. For example, I knew that in the Esco legend I'm going to be doing lots of multiple tonguing. So if I'm going to start practicing with that first, I'll start warming up a little bit with my normal long tones, and then I'll do some tonguing exercises to get ready for that, so that I'm not, usually that might be later in my routine, but I have to modify it for this situation and what's available. Also, try and be really considerate about your vacation, about not only the people around you, but how the people around you might be wanting to spend time with you. People understand. I think the general population of people understand to a point, like, oh, you have to practice. But the normal person isn't going to understand, like, oh, you have to practice for 8 hours. Okay, no problem. They'll be like, oh, what are you doing in there over and over again? That's kind of weird. So you have to kind of tone it down in a way to how it'll be kind of accepted in the environment. So I didn't go in there and say, all right, family, I've got to practice double tonguing for 6 hours. Ready, go. It doesn't work like that. You have to be respectful of that. And when you're on vacation, you have to maintain a little bit of your face so that when you come back, you're not completely destroyed. But you have to be realistic about what you can and what you can't fit in. And I hope this is helpful. I know everybody likes to go on vacation. A lot of times, too, it's if you bring the stuff with you, then you say, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna play some trumpet. Oh, great. Okay, then you can do it. You just don't want to totally obliterate the entire time of the vacation playing trumpet for me. And also, especially if you've got a family that you don't spend tons of time with, they might not understand that you have to practice for 6 hours. So, tone it down and kind of portion it out so that it's kind of seems normal. Because when you think about it, it is really weird that we spend 6 hours a day playing the same instrument. I mean, it's hard to grasp for people who don't do that. Say somebody who's works in an office building. I mean, they're like, wow, you practice for as much time as I sit at my desk? I mean, that's insane. And the people don't understand that that's what it takes to get good enough, to reach a certain point where you're satisfied with your playing. So find a portion that is acceptable for you to practice on the vacation and acceptable for the people that are around you to practice. I guess that's it. That's my advice. I have a few blogs behind, but I was out in the wilderness looking at creatures in nature and trying to not get eaten by bears or anything like that, and we didn't. So obviously, I hope that everyone's summer is going well, and I hope that you all have some time to relax and take some time off. So that's about it, and I'll see you next time.